Hi, so this is the first video I am uploading, and as you can tell from the title, this is a speed build of the bronze from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I decided to basically make a save file that was Buffy themed. I was inspired by Tommy Lynn. She's on YouTube. She's doing a Disney themed save file. It's amazing. Like, it's just fantastic. You should definitely find her and watch her videos. She definitely sort of inspired me to take this on. So I'm just trying to build basically all the things that I can think to build. And I decided to start with the bronze because I'm starting off making Sunnydale, and I've decided to turn Willow Creek into Sunnydale. So this is on, I'm trying to figure out which lot it's on. It's, well, Garden Essence. It's on the sort of bottom right hand corner of Willow Creek. And I thought I'd start with this one because it was one of the less daunting ones. But something that I didn't realise before I was probably getting into it is how many different versions of it there are. Because through the years on the show, it changed a lot because of all the remodeling, and obviously everything moves around every time they do things there, and the stage is different, and there's been disasters there. But I sort of tried to go for the best balance between versions of the bronze. I used lots of different episodes for references. So the upstairs is based on a lot of the shots from Crush in season 5. But the layout of the downstairs area with the bathrooms and later on the kitchen comes from the wiki, because obviously we've never seen the kitchen, but according to the wiki there is a kitchen downstairs near the bathrooms, which we also haven't seen. This stage, like the back of the stage, like the backdrop of it changed depending on who was playing as well. And given that the outside shots of the bronze don't tend to show out the whole thing, I sort of tried to go for my best estimate. And obviously the logo of the outside changed a lot, so I tried out lots of different ones, as you can see happening here, and sort of thought that one seems the best, the one that I've ended up with, that yellow one. And this is just me trying to figure out the shape of it. And so the bronze is in this sort of warehousey area because it used to be a warehouse. What they used to make in there, I have no idea what you would make in a place like the bronze, but yeah, try to make it look like a warehouse, but it's completely on its own. There's no other warehouses nearby because this is originally a residential area. But yeah, a lot of this is improvised in terms of what's precisely there, and there's also the limitations of what we actually have in The Sims. So we don't have pool tables, and even if we did, we probably wouldn't have a red one. So I used a beer pong table, or like a juice pong table from School of University. I thought that would look better than the table football, what's it called, foosball? I also tried to go for like a slanted roof situation, but I don't think there's any way to just have the roof but not have the walls on the side. So I just ended up bringing it in because this stage is under a shorter roof than the rest of the warehouse. But there's not an easy way to make it sort of gradual. Because, you know, you get a lot of overhead shots, like in Dead Things in season 6, lots of overhead shots in that episode. I also struggled with what I was going to do at the back of the stage, because I thought, do I put loads of like storage stuff there? But I thought, well, we don't actually know what's at the back of the stage. And also on the stage, like, what am I going to put on the stage? Because we don't have drums, and usually the bands that were there had drum kits. I was like, this, though, I really wish we had drum kits in the Sims 4. They have them in the Sims Free Play, but not the main game that people pay for, but whatever. I also thought, because this is down as a nightclub, and I think one of the requirements in a nightclub is to have a DJ booth. I put that up there as well, but also left the instruments up there, because the general vibe of the Bronze is live music every night. Despite the fact that we like was so impractical in a small town like Sunnydale. But oh yeah, with the backdrop there, that's sort of based on, I think, one of the bands in like season 7. They had like this sort of light based like backdrop that looked kind of cool and kind of like that. And one of the things that was weird building this is usually I like a lot of light in my builds, so I like to see what I'm doing, but this is such a dingy, dark place that's barely ever well lit. It was well lit in like the musical episode, and that might be it. So lots of building in the dark, and even when I did end up adding lights, I didn't add many. The booths here, I know that they're there because of that scene in Crush. I think if you had like Journey to Batu, you'd probably be able to change them, but I don't have Journey to Batu. And the bar area here is trying to be based on the bar. I think it's a curved bar in the main show, but there's only curved bars in Batu again, I think. In terms of where all the furniture is, I didn't really have an idea of where I should specifically put everything, because everything moves around a lot depending how many people were there and where they wanted the gang to sit. You know, it changed which pieces of furniture were where and which furniture they actually had in. Oh, here's me adding in windows at the top. The only reason these are here is because, like, in the second episode, Buffy breaks a window just above the stage to try to like trick Luke into thinking that there's sun there, and that's the only place that it made sense for me to put them. And yeah, the bathrooms here, that's just based on a floor plan that I found on the wiki. I tried to go mainly based on the show, but like, we know that there are toilets there, we know that there must be some sort of back staff room there, but not quite certain like the exact layout, so I just had to go based on the wiki. But I did try to go on the show on its own as much as I could, because I know the floor plans aren't always reliable. You know, the flooring, I tried to go based on things that I'd seen in the show as well, but I'm also restricted in terms of what floorings we actually have access to. But I think you can tell it's the bronze. And if you were to say to someone, this is the bronze, they go, yeah, that looks like the bronze. And I'm hoping that if I do finish doing so many Buffy builds, eventually I might be able to go back and go, oh, now I know a lot more about the bronze, and I've seen a couple of things that are going to help me improve it. But you know, for the first time I decided to just build from scratch, I think this ended up looking how I wanted it to look. Oh, and the outside area with the ropes. As far as I know, the club that Buffy is outside of in season 7 in Sleeper is the bronze, because there's not meant to be another club in Sunnydale, but there might be, and they might have just been lying to us. But you know, I put the rope there because I thought, well, we've seen rope there before, so I'll put it there. And this is another instance of me going off of what it might look like if it were actually a lot like this, and it's meant to be a warehouse area, so it would have that sort of area out back, but there's limited information on what the bronze actually looks like on the outside. But yeah, so that is the finished bronze, and this is the beginning of me trying to remake as much of the Buffyverse in The Sims. My idea is that at the end of it, they'll all be living roughly where they live at the end of the comics. Not that the comics have ended, but the sort of rough ending-ish of the comics. So if you haven't read the comics, you might be a bit confused if they all end up in apartments with people that you wouldn't think they're going to be ending up with. But that's my plan, and hopefully it will work. Thank you